AITA for refusing to break up with my stepsister's crush? So I, 16F, live with my mom, 37F, and my stepdad, Diego, 37M. Basically, my parents divorced when I was 9 because my dad cheated, and my dad, 45M, remarried quickly to my stepmom Rosa, 42F, who came with my stepsister Luciana, 16F. Basically, at first I stayed with my dad and stepmom, but it was hell. I would only get the basics while my stepsister got everything, and they would always side with her in every confrontation we had. That's why I ended up moving with my mom, with who I have a much better relationship with. The only reason why I didn't stay with her was because she was kinda going through a rough patch with the divorce and my granddad's recent passing. But she got back on her feet, and when she asked me to go live with her full-time, I didn't hesitate. She eventually remarried to my stepdad, who was her high school boyfriend, and they had my little brother Benjamin 4 years ago. Anyway, ever since I moved to my mom's house, I refused to talk to my dad. Every meeting we had was completely against my will, and I actually have a much better relationship with Diego, who's the nicest guy I ever met. My dad is an a-hole, and I won't even bother to tell you why. I think you can figure it out by the things I wrote already. So, I've been dating my boyfriend Noel, 16M, for over 10 months. Our relationship has been amazing so far. He's just the sweetest and funniest guy I know. We've been always affectionate with each other on school. We're not making out in front of everyone, but we are always hugging and all. Luciana goes to the same school as I do, but we have different curses. And Noel, our friends, and I usually stay on the classroom during recess playing with cards and all, so I've never ruined into Luciana. For what I know, she usually walks around the hall. Anyway, in my country we're on summer, and I haven't been to school in over 2 months. The thing is, I went to my dad's house to pick something up after work, and since it was late to go home walking, I called Noel to pick me up. He showed up a couple of minutes later. As always, I greeted him with a kiss on the lips and got on his dad's car. Everything went normal, but the next day my dad asked me to go to his house because he needed to talk to me. I went there, and both Luciana and him were sitting on the couch, and they asked me to sit. I asked what the hell was going on, and my dad started to talk about how disrespectful it was to date my stepsister's crush, much more to bring him here. I stopped him right there. I told him that Noel and I had been dating for almost a year, and that he doesn't even know about Luciana's existence. This hurt her. She told me to shut up, but I replied that is the truth. My dad suggested I should break up with him, but I told him to shut the fuck up, that I wasn't going to break up with my boyfriend because my delusional stepsister has a crush on a guy she doesn't even know. Plus, I told her she was such a street rag for trying to ruin her stepsister's relationship, and to get her eyes on a boy that's not taken, because my boyfriend is. I left before they could argue. Yeah, I know that Noel and I are teenagers and it's hard for us to actually last, but I'm not going to break up with him because my a-hole of a dad and the brat of my stepsister say so. No, definitely not. AITA? P.S. English is not my first language. I apologize for any mistake. Update. So, it's been around a month or so since I posted about my stepsister Luciana and my father demanding to break up with my boyfriend because she has a crush on him. Here's a small update for the few people that read the post. Well, before everything, I spoke with Noel about the situation, and he told me that he did know who Luciana was. He haven't met her, but he has confirmed to me that she sent him lots of DMs on Instagram and that he had to block her. Our friends confirmed it. Polo, one of my closest friends, the one that introduced me to Noel in the first place, explained how he dated Mia, one of Luciana's closest friends, and that she tried to convince him to go on a double date with her, Luciana, and asked him to bring Noel. Polo refused, and Mia insisted a lot about it, so they stopped dating. Basically, Luciana has been having a crush on my boyfriend for months, and she did know we were dating, and that made her furious. Noel said that Luciana's behavior makes him real uncomfortable, and asked me to try to stay away from my dad and his family because he doesn't trust them. He thinks they are not good people, and I agree with him. I had decided already that I wasn't going to keep in contact with my dad anymore. Actually, I had it mine for years already, but I didn't want to cause my mom any legal problem, so I went along with it. My mother and stepdad asked me about why I wasn't going visiting my dad anymore, and I told them that I would not be visiting him any longer. They asked why, and I was honest. I told them that I never really liked him, and that I'm 16 and I can stop seeing him if I want to. I also admitted that the final straw was him asking me to break up with my boyfriend because Luciana wanted to, and my stepdad went nuts. He called my dad and called him a terrible parent and lots of other things, like saying that just because his wife is a homewrecker, doesn't mean he has to raise his stepdaughter to follow her steps. My mom also berated him. My dad tried to call me afterwards, but I had blocked him and made the final choice of cutting contact for good with him. It's been a week ever since, and honestly, it feels as if I had taken a dead weight out of my shoulders. One would think that you can feel bad about it, but I've been knowing my dad is a piece of shit ever since he cheated on my mom. It made me feel bad back then, but I stopped caring a while ago. And when my stepdad came into my life and started to treat me as his own child, it was way easier to let it go. I don't know, I don't feel anything to be honest. I knew something like this could have happened, and it did. And I'm glad I made the choice of cutting him out. I sadly still have his last name on, but I will change it for my mom's last name soon.